Hello and welcome to the Playdevil podcast for Gamescom 2013, and this is the second one of the show.
I'm tired.
It's a bit weird because obviously this will be going up after the first day of the show. In fact, the first one hasn't gone up yet. But we're going to try and hack it all onto the YouTube account later before we go and get wasted.
Woo!
Because that is the traditional second day event of Gamescom, first evening kind of thing, first proper evening.
And then tomorrow morning, the third day event is seeing how hungover you can be.
Yes.
At your first interview.
Indeed, in fact, more entertainingly is seeing how hangover you can make people you know you're going to be meeting as PR first thing the next day. That's brilliant. But yeah, we've had an interesting first day. We ran around a lot of stuff. Sorry, let's dial this back a bit. This is the Playdevil podcast. I am Alex, your host, and I am here, actually in the flesh, but as always, with Ian.
Thankfully, not too much flesh.
No, just the lower calves and the upper calves.
Pretty sexy.
Some of them really. But that's it. That's it with the nakedness. Fleshiness, I suppose would be. There's not much nakedness there.
Now this sounds like hentai and it's getting a bit wrong, and we've been talking for 1 minute and 20 seconds.
Woo-hoo! So you've had a busy day with me. Let's lay it out like that. I've had a fairly busy day, but a lot of my day was spent trying to upload some videos, which went horrendously poorly, which I'm now doing, nice and slowly. We'll get there in the end, slow and steady wins the day and all that. But we kicked off, unlike last year, it wasn't like from the first minute, was it? We had a bit of time to look around. And what was your first appointment today?
First appointment was Call of Duty Ghosts.
Call of Duty Ghosts, okay. And how was that?
So, as is the usual show that you get, they don't really show the single player off at Gamescom to the press. It's kind of more about the multiplayer kind of announcements, where they traditionally where they show off any new modes or how you spec out your character, etc. Yeah. So that was the spiel we got, kind of same as last year. Another attempt to convince you it's all new and all very exciting.
Is it all new and all very exciting?
So there's definitely an element of it which is all new and all exciting.
Is it a dog?
No.
Wow, okay. So what's very new and very exciting?
So before you used to kind of you used to be basically assigned a character model.
Yes, correct.
So you now get to create your own character.
Can they be really ugly?
So we didn't really go through the process of creating one. We went more telling us about some of the options that were available.
Was one of them to make him really ugly?
No.
Was one of them to make him a her?
Yes.
Yes.
There is an option.
Breaking new ground.
Unfortunately, there is no option to make them a dog.
Ugly her?
Ouch.
You know what? I was thinking her based on everything up to that point. Then I realised you said, but no dog. And then I realised how my term could be construed.
Yeah, sexist comment of the week.
Wasn't meant to be. Apologies if anybody took it that way. What I meant, I was going back on my earlier question. But yeah, so no dog.
No dog. 20,000 combinations of face, arms, legs, whatever. So I'm hoping that if there's 20,000...
One of them's got to be ugly.
Combinations, there'll be some horrible Saints Row style monsters that you're able to create.
Nice.
Personally, whilst I couldn't see it, I'm really looking forward to creating a soldier who weighs about 40 stone.
Right. Yes, that'd be good.
Goodness knows whether that's possible or not. As I said, we only saw some pictures that look pretty generic soldier. Do
you think they'll have armour to fit?
I hope not.
Just kind of squeezing out.
Yeah, it's all bulging out. That would be much better. But there's some interesting innovations. So you now have a Call of Duty profile.
Didn't you have that with?
So your progress is no longer linked to a single game anymore. It's linked to your account.
Okay.
So it means if you are crazy and play the game on multiple platforms, your progress will continue across those platforms.
Is that like a cross-platform save, or is it something other than that? I mean, what carries across in this?
So it carries across all of your unlocks, your level, your XP, and your custom face character thing and be bother.
So does that mean you can literally play it on PlayStation and Xbox and keep the progress between the two?
That's what they said.
Wow. That's actually, while it might not be that groundbreaking in terms of, what it brings to at least the player. Well, it could be if you're really into it. While it might not be that effective for a lot of people, that is something that I never been prepared to see.
Yeah, if you've got a group of friends that plays on PlayStation and a group of friends that plays on Xbox, and you're lucky enough to have multiple consoles, or alternatively you're so desperate to go and get Call of Duty, because it is definitely out before the PlayStation 4, and maybe out before the Xbox One launch.
Right.
Effectively, you could go out, buy the game on the Xbox 360 or PS3, enjoy it for a few weeks, and then download your character and progress straight away to the new console.
Well, that's pretty good. I mean, and obviously that's very important for those people that will be starting off and taking it incredibly seriously.
Yeah.
Now, what were you playing it on? I guess would be the other big question in this.
So this was a guided tour. This was not a hands-on. This is a traditional briefing.
Okay. So you were playing it on DVD player, Blu-ray player.
So they didn't even demo the game for us. It was a combination of clips and PowerPoints and the like. We've got wristbands to go and check it out on the floor tomorrow. So if we have time, we'll actually go and play the game.
That'd be good. I mean, I'd like to get a bit of time with it, if only out of interest, but not the biggest game for me in terms of...
No, there's some interesting stuff which I think appeals more to me and my own particular play style that continues to just about keep my interest in the series alive. I will no doubt probably do what I normally do, complete the single player, and then play through multiplayer until I reach about level 20 and get bored and probably never play it again.
Right.
But there were a few...
At least there's a system.
Yeah, there's a few other additions that sounded interesting. There's a new class of weapon available that kind of fits between assault and sniper class. Kind of suits you if you kind of aren't really any good at using sniper rifles, but don't necessarily rush up in front of people. There's a couple of new modes that sounded okay, including one that is called Cranked, which sounds kind of fun.
Okay, what's that?
Basically, you're on a 30-second countdown, and if you don't kill someone within 30 seconds, you blow up.
Right. Like explosively to kill other people?
No, I think it's like it's taken obviously from the film Crank. So you basically just they said explode. We weren't shown the after effects of what might happen.
What explosion means in this instance.
Yeah. And they're also bringing in proper clans this time. Proper clans.
So how have they been? I'm not really that involved in Call of Duty,
so I think only recently you were allowed a clan tag over the last few iterations. That's been there, but there's not really been anything beyond that. It's all kind of... In the last couple, I think there's been easier options to organise matches, but effectively that's all it's been. Now there is actually a mode set aside for that where you effectively play a series of games over a couple of weeks against similarly ranked clans. I guess similar to how some of the StarCraft ranking stuff works. And then can level up or down based on the territories you capture in that series period.
Okay, that's, glad to see they're offering those options to people who are already engrossed in that game. Do you think it will entice anyone?
No, I imagine one of the reasons why I will probably again play it and then discard it after a few weeks is because once again I will find that whilst I find the core concepts of the multiplayer okay, I don't play it enough, nor do I have the time enough to play it to get good at it, and therefore I will get smashed at every opportunity and then get bored after a couple of weeks.
Fair enough.
But I think if you like Call of Duty, once again they seem to have somehow just about done enough to ensure that you'll keep playing it for another year.
Well, I guess that really is all they have to do, right?
I think at this point it is already difficult enough. I think they've now, over the last 2 or 3 games, after it was starting to look a bit stale, established enough of a cycle of innovation that there's enough each year, I think, to make it just about worthwhile as long as you already are pretty invested in those games.
Brilliant. Well, I guess I'm glad they're doing things with it to keep people interested. The fact that I think these very talented people should be allowed to do something else with their time. By the by.
Yeah.
Which is unfair. I mean, as long as people are enjoying it, who am I to judge, right? Because
enough people still enjoy those
I'm
games.
a fickle swine. So I guess that's about the time. About that point, I would have been looking at Panzer Generals online and Might and Magic.
How was the Panzer Generals?
The Panzer Generals was.
They were online?
They were online. It was hexes.
Oh, right.
Turn-based hexes.
So it's like old school Heroes of Might and Magic?
Yes. Pretty much.
You've now kind of sold me on that game?
You're in these kind of lines. There's an action. An email of mine apparently just sent.
Okay, or one of ours anyway.
That's weird. Sorry, in case you're one, wasn't your computer if you listen to this on any kind of Mac device, it's us. You've got 3 kind of hex-based lines. You're trying to attack the base on the opposing side of that line.
Right.
Multiplayer's in there. It's going to ship with 100 hours of single-player content as well across 4 campaigns, which is set in the realistic battles of the Bulge, for example. That's one of the ones I can recall.
Because the Second World War was fought in hexes.
Fought in hexes, dropping bombs on those hexes. I remember a song about that. Something about bend you over and show you what hex is. I don't know why that was funny to me. It came back. But it's all based around these command cards, and that's the troops and it's the movement and action points, basically.
Okay.
So at the start of the game, in a similar way to a card trading game, you have to pick which cards you're going to take in with you,
right?
And that will dictate what troops you have with you and what they're going to be able to do within that kind of rule set.
Okay, so now it sounds like Heroes of Might and Magic crossed with Magic the Gathering.
Not quite Magic the Gathering, but yes, certainly similar in terms of what's going on.
Crossed with Top Trumps?
Yeah, probably more like Top Trumps actually. And then obviously there is a free-to-play model stuck on the top.
Right, okay.
But they were keen to explain that of course there would be none of that nasty pay to win.
Pay to win, okay.
It's just but they didn't really say what you'd be paying for at all.
Okay, I mean, they're probably not decided. Yeah.
Well, they should have done because the beta launch isn't 2 weeks.
Oh right, okay, yeah. Well.
These are all pretty much up and coming. Now, after that, all in the same kind of thing, we move from guns and tanks to mights and magics.
Were they mighty?
They were. Might and Magic 10 Legacy. No matter how much my Japanese gameplay mind wanted to call it Might and Magic Cross Legacy, it was definitely 10. They were quite insistent about that. Now, this is it's taking a huge step back, but in a good way. They basically turned around as a studio apparently and declared, how did we get into this? What did we like? What were the games that we played? And they had this turn-based, first-person, take a step, turn-based.
So it is turn-based as well?
It's turn-based as well.
Okay.
As they pointed out, they went from the kind of Overwatch to an underground battle, and you had this huge spider, and they took a step forward, the spider hit them. And they were like, and you can now go and have a cup of coffee if you want to, because that spider's doing nothing. It's your turn. It's kind of sell on it. And it looked nice. I mean, I don't know, after playing something like Oblivion or Skyrim more recently, how people are going to take to that kind of switch back to a very traditional RPG. Like when you use the action points, it does drain your players. They do need to rest.
I mean, Legend of Grimrock did pretty well, but I mean, it was a fairly small indie game.
Yeah, and it was more focused on the kind of dungeon crawling aspect. I don't know how people are going to take to exploring a world. Because it's a massive open world.
And is it turn-based when you're in the open world?
Well, take a step. Yes.
Okay.
And they were pointing out, like, if you take the wrong way, then you'll end up in a Cyclops cave and he'll just kill you at the start. And I'm like, that doesn't actually sound fun. But as much as... it was a very quick demo, and they weren't going into huge depth. But you've got to look at it and wonder to yourself how much of the kind of plan is just... The old games have been improved on in many cases. It's not that we've just left them behind. A lot of the improvements have been to telegraph things, so you don't just walk into things and you end up getting ganked.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how that works out. If you're literally going to be walking up to a fork in the road and being like, one way kills you, one way doesn't, good luck!
Yeah.
Then I don't think that's going to wash as well in the modern day.
Not unless it's got a seriously good autosave.
No, exactly. And then we wandered out of there from, and this is still all Ubisoft, and I stumbled into the Stick of Truth, South Park.
Did you get hit by the Stick of Truth?
I didn't get hit by the Stick of Truth, no. They did demonstrate, a lot of the customization. It really does look like South Park. I mean, there's setups that are full-on South Park videos, and then in action, it does look like the characters stumbling around.
Yeah, I didn't see it with you, but it sounds good. It seems like it will be a sweary game, and
you don't mean sweary as in
not as in Deadly Premonition sweary, as offensive.
Cursey game.
Yeah, as offensive as the show is.
Yeah, and I think the issue they're going to run into, and this certainly even manifested in the short demo, was that it is a comedy game, and when it's being funny, it's really, really good. When it's being funny with the same joke for the 5th time, it's already really dull. And some, there will be a lot of, if you're assuming you're moving through it, you'll keep running into these comic cutscenes, and they'll absolutely keep your interest. But in combat and things, there were lines that I heard 3 or 4 times in the space of 10 minutes of play that were already starting to grate.
That's not cool, because this is an Obsidian game, and it's probably going to be 20 hours.
20 hours of what looks like good old, turn-based combat. Turn-based Final Fantasy style combat.
Yeah.
Which all look good. Or, your dude's using a dildo as a weapon. Basically, he has magic, and he does this weird thing, like he's wearing armour, so suddenly he's covered in tinfoil. Stuff like that, It's South Park.
Yeah.
And it's the conceit is the whole town's in on this Dungeons and Dragons game.
Great. The whole concept of it sounds excellent. I just really hope the execution is there.
I think the ultimate, the 2 best things you can say about it is that, one, it is the proper, it is Matt Parkham Traystone. That's right, isn't it? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Doing the voices. And the kind of idea that you are this new kid who's trying to be cool and trying to be magical, and what's magical to 4th graders? Farting. So his manner is fart.
Yeah, alright, okay.
But therein, how long does that joke?
Yeah, how long is that? So probably about as long as a fart.
Well, they're never fresh.
No, exactly.
So that's Ubi.
Cool, and then we reconvened, sort of, at Warner.
Did we? Was that next, or did I squeeze in? No, you're right, that was it. Oh.
Although I was late because I had to wait for Call of Duty a little bit longer than I expected.
Yeah, you did.
So you got to see some Batman.
Arkham Origins, yeah. And they were showing off some new bits and bobs in there, actually.
Okay.
Firefly, one of the assassins, they kind of showed his form in this kind of like gritty Batman universe that they created, and obviously it's a bit earlier. This Batman, and that's kind of a bit clear. Rather than having that kind of latex body armour, he looks a little bit more like he's wearing combat fatigues with armour over the top, rather than being a one piece. And they also showed off, and this was always going to be a thing. You've got to give that kind of special disbelief and move past it, because clearly they were going to have to make innovations over the last game, even though it's in the past.
Yeah.
They've added shock gloves,
right?
Which, after a little while of fighting, you can click in the 2 sticks, and suddenly your hands are like electrified.
Right.
Which is, it's all right.
Was it shocking to see that?
Jesus. That just kind of hurts me inside.
Sorry, I have also been ruining Alex's day with puns.
Yeah, they've been coming thick and fast. But yeah, what was really interesting about them wasn't so much that they could stun people earlier for a bit longer. What was really effective about them was that you activate them. And I don't know if this is going to be ultimately beneficial or detrimental to the overall game, but all those kind of people with stun batons and shields that would slow down the combat before, which I guess is where you could say could be an advantage. I no longer have that advantage because you hit it with your stun thing, you hit it with your kind of electrified gauntlets, and the shield becomes electrified, and they get stunned and they drop it. And you can and you've got a time on this because of the battery. If you parry somebody who's coming at you with like the shock stick, you recharge your gauntlet as well. So it's all sorts of bits like that.
Yeah, okay, interesting.
It looks like an interesting mechanic, and that combined with like the new grapple hook that fires to be a line, so you grapple both ends of things that can use as takedowns, makes it look interesting.
Do you want to play another one of those games?
Watching it, I remembered how good they were.
Yeah.
But I also, watching the kind of open worldness, remember how much I like the Confined Asylum.
Yeah.
I think it's going to come down to how those 8 assassins work as to how good it's going to be.
I never really got into City. I loved Asylum, but then, wasn't so enamored.
This could be a good place to come back in if you didn't miss the last one. But I think what really struck me is that Deathstroke is going to be one of the DLC kind of bonuses. And I was watching him fight, and I was like, that is Nightwing, isn't it? They've given him a stick, he's fighting with that kind of really Nightwing style, and that, as far as I was aware, isn't Deathstroke. He's kind of a sword. He kills, and that's not what they've set this character up to do, clearly. But then, we met up and we went in something together.
Yeah.
You, me, and Bjorn.
All 3 of us saw Mad Max.
Indeed. And he was mad. He was very angry.
And he's Australian again now.
He is, yes. Very Australian.
I imagine that was deliberate after what happened at E3 when he became a bit American.
Meh. They could have done the voice. They would have thought I was Australian.
Enough people did think you were.
Yeah, enough people thought I was Australian today. Must be my Aussie twang. If we ever get complaints, it should be about that accent right there. Forget me, bloody woman.
So, other than having the ability to throw a shrimp on a Barbie,
yes, and get a Sheila to fetch you another beer.
This is turning into our most racist podcast. Yeah.
Hey, you started it.
Yeah, I did. Apologies to our many Australian listeners.
That could be the only place we listen to. Those could be the only people who listen. We have no clue. If you're Australian, please write in and tell us. That's it. There's no more. There's no more. I mean, there's a whole website, Playdevil.com. Go to it. There's plenty of places to write on there. It'll be cool.
So
we're very friendly. We never answer. We never look at forms.
I kind of thought Mad Max was one of the best things I saw today, and that's even despite the fact that I don't think it was necessarily a particularly revolutionary game.
Yeah, well, it was one of the few games that I kind of, as we were playing, I kind of thought, oh yeah, they're playing this on a PS4. And then I thought, oh yeah, they probably couldn't do this on anything else.
Yeah.
And one of the 2 games, actually, I think I played there. And then again, I was playing a lot of older games. You went off and did all of your next-gen stuff, and I was sat there playing fucking MOBA clones.
So I wasn't all roses and
no, but Mad Max.
Mad Max.
It was interesting. You were making, and I thought this was the funniest part. You were making his new car, the Magnum Opus. And I'm sat there going like, that doesn't sound very Mad Max to me.
No.
I thought Mad Max Opus would have been funny. or Maximum Torque or something. It didn't feel...
Just a Maximum Opus.
Yeah, Maximum Opus. To be fair, I don't think it needed a Max pun in there, to be clear, I should say. But I do think there was something more fitting to be had there.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. I'm not 100% sure they've got all of the elements there. Yeah? I think we kind of both thought that the on-foot combat seemed fine.
And clearly a lot of the AI routines weren't in place. I mean, I laughed out loud during it, actually. I don't know if you were fairly close, so you probably heard the chuckle.
Yeah.
But they were literally, Mad Max got this hunchback car mechanic
Yeah.
partner who's like hanging onto the back of his car the whole time, and they decide like ammo's short, so he's got this kind of like long sight sniper rifle, and there's the choice of using that, or you can sneak up on your opponent, and they sneak up in this kind of like raw horsepower car. It's like, and they're sneaking up on this guy in a tower, and he's like 20 meters away, and still
Tops.
And there's somebody
otherwise silent.
But the guy in there's going like, just a little closer, just a little more, and like they're being sneaky.
And there's literally fire dropping out the back of the exhausts of his car. Huge revving noises, tyre noises.
The guy doesn't flinch.
Yeah, he's. Some of that stuff was pretty cool. Maybe it's designed just to be a little bit over the top anyway. Maybe it will be like that. It seemed like it handled melee combat and ranged combat when you're on foot to a decent extent. That was the bit I was kind of least convinced on. But the car combat seemed really interesting. Yeah,
it did. Car combat seemed good. The upgrade system they've got in place for that seems good, and the kind of barter system that or barter and trade kind of world you enter into with all these separate factions also seemed apt for the universe of Mad Max.
Yeah. There's also a Just Cause style harpoon, which, when it came to the sneaking, that was what was used. The tower was harpooned, and then the big V8 drove away and ripped the thing to the ground.
They snuck up. I want to point this out again. They snuck up on this thing to kill one guy, like, sneaking up on him, and drag down a tower to alert the whole camp.
Yeah,
that was just weird tactics, and it showed off the game. I'm only teasing really in that regard, but yeah, that was a bit weird.
Yeah,
but they had those interesting assassination kind of brutal kills. You like got a guy in the headlock and blew it off with his shotgun in the other hand.
Yeah,
and yeah, it looks good.
And then after that, we saw Dying Light.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
It's for people who liked Dead Island and did not like Dead Island: The Riptide. This is the Dead Island for you.
Yeah, it was. It's a bit more cityfied. It's not that kind of. I had the talk about this day, the Dead Island thing that I went to. It's that it hasn't all that kind of colourful, bright Paradise Lost kind of vibe. It is very much a city overrun by zombies.
Yeah.
But they obviously, this is Xbox One, PS4, very populated world, lots of zombies. I mean, there are times in there that you heard me kind of go, maybe I was hamming it up because the guy was wearing a pair of headphones next to me and listened to everything I said. But there were moments where he'd be like, go this way, and I'd come up and I'd be the other side of a barrier, and there would be about 50 zombies on the other side.
Oh yeah.
I'd be like, what? But they're dormant in the day, pretty much. They are photosensitive during the day. They're dormant. At night, they're active, and apparently, again, this is what was being explained. At night, because they become more active, the bigger zombies come out, rather than being in their kind of caves, and that's when you want to go into the caves and wipe out their nests.
Yeah.
So it's, but yeah, Dead Island, open world, go and fulfill missions, but in a kind of slightly more. We have base camps that we've already set up and we're fighting back already. We're not. Yeah. We were on holiday and we're the only survivors.
Yeah, same team that did the original Dead Island, and they've been working on it, I think, since. Yeah,
it's Techland.
Yeah, it's Techland, okay. And it's the original. The Riptide team was a different
I'm just surprised it was with Warner then, because I thought Cockpit Silver had.
Yeah, poor Cock left with the Dead Island license that is now after Riptide not quite as valuable.
Well, they do have Dead Island Epidemic, I think it was called. Hang on, I'm going to dig this up now because this was the next game that I went to see.
Good.
Aptly, Dead Island Epidemic, which is that. What do you want in your MOBA? Zombies. When do you want it? Now, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it is top down or isometric run round.
Well, that's generally how MOBAs are.
Yeah, team-based, three teams all against each other.
Okay, so it's a bit different.
They
Most MOBAs are 2 teams, right?
Yeah, they showed us 3 classes. Actually, it was a bit weird because we went in, we had the whole Dead Island spiel, and at no point, and this was a new title, this was unannounced, and they were talking about it and talking about Dead Island. I was like, okay, this is classes, this is going to be. It's like, and what we found is that a lot of people like to play online and the crazy weapons they can build. I'm like, yeah, so Dead Island, okay. I said, but we didn't just want to make, like a Dota or a League of Legends. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
This hasn't been mentioned. I mean, it wasn't like. So we decided to make this kind of game, but we wanted to put our own twist on it. It came out of nowhere. I was expecting first-person shooter.
Yeah.
No, it was.
So it just went balls out.
Yeah.
So, woo! Yeah! We're going to tell you, we've got some fucking esports going on, and zombies, and the zombies in the crowd, and they're naked, and they've got signs like, woo! Fuck yeah, Dead Island!
Sort of a bit like that, yeah.
Yeah, alright, okay.
And it rolled down, and I'm sat there going, okay, well, I'll give it a shot, but it was 3 classes were on offer, and each class, 3 classes, each with 2 different kind of branching paths through their upgrade tree. Right. One of which was infected, one of which was resistant. And each one came with different bonuses. And anyway, we go storming in with our team, and what their big kind of thing was PvP, VP, VE.
Whoa! Mind blowing!
Blowing my mind. And basically, the concept is, we played kind of capture the flag thing. There were 4 flags, you have to run around, grab them, run back. There was a host of moves on offer.
Sounds a bit different. It's not just killing your towers.
No, it's not. I mean, it's that kind of action in terms of the positioning, but it's not a MOBA in terms of the actual core gameplay, or the core kind of objectives. And what they kind of tried to push is that there are mobs in there that are too big for one team of 4.
Okay.
So there will be these kind of unsteady alliances where you are trying to take over this flag.
Yeah.
These other people will come along and try and stop you taking over their flag. And this massive zombie will drop in. And you'll be like, well, fuck.
Okay.
So, I mean, it did some interesting things. I don't know how it's going to compete with Dota and LoL. I mean, yes, that this.
Yeah, I mean, I think
it's such a weird market to enter into at this point.
The problem is that League's its kind of own thing, and
as is Dota.
Well, but Dota, League's its own thing because it's kind of just managed to get so big, whereas Dota is kind of is really coming to its own as well because it's free completely.
Yeah, so it's LoL.
Yeah, but I mean, it's its own kind of new game. It's promoted very heavily on Steam, which is where most people get their games.
Yeah.
And I know LoL doesn't need you to have Warcraft anymore, right? Or did it ever need you to have Warcraft?
It did.
It did, yeah. So I know it's its own game now, but I think it's got its own new art style.
Wait, LoL, did you say?
Yeah.
No, LoL never required.
LoL never required.
No, you're thinking Dota 1.
Yeah, Dota 1, yeah.
Yeah, no, LoL never did. LoL was its own.
So was it Heroes of New York?
Yeah.
Also?
Yeah, I don't think that did either.
Oh well.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
But anyway.
Yeah.
It's there on Steam and heavily promoted by Valve. Lots of money behind the tournaments and stuff. So unsurprising that it gets a lot of attention.
Exactly.
And you can't being able to put that amount of promotion into it because let's face it, even if it launched on Steam and was free to play, they probably aren't necessarily going to have the advertising budget or money to put behind it for tournaments, etc. Even if that's the way they want it to be played or not, who knows?
I'm not sure they do.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they do. I think it's a smaller thing, and I mean, there's an appeal to this kind of 4 and 4.
Yeah.
And dividing that up and making it less. Honestly, it makes it less competitive. Or just competitive, less. Is there a word for professionally competitive? I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, because it goes so many ways, it's far less easy to place a bet. You can't take it off any kind of stats or previous stuff because you never know how it's going to fall.
No, I'm not listening. To be honest, it kind of actually sounds alright.
Yeah, it does, and having the massive mobs drop in completely, wouldn't be possible, shouldn't be possible in a tournament because it could completely upset the balance if the computer decides to drop them in at an impromptu moment on one team. So it'll be interesting to see how that does, really, because I think it's an unnecessary game.
Yeah,
it's a departure. Is that license required?
Mm-hmm.
But it's an interesting thing.
Yeah, okay. So I stayed at Warner whilst you were there, and I played a different Batman game. Arkham Origins Blackgate.
Right.
Which is coming out on Vita and 3DS, same day as the main home console title.
Right.
And it's made by a new studio, Armature, and that was founded by some of the founders of Retro Studios, who are obviously quite well known for the Metroid games. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it is a basically Metroidvania style game.
Right.
But it's what was interesting about it is it is a kind of pseudo 3D game.
Oh, so I wish you'd said that later. Then I could have gone from pseudo to pseudo.
Oh, and you talk about my puns. So you can go kind of. It's kind of 2.5D because there is some depth to it. You're always on the same plane, but there are ways of going through grates and various other doors and stuff, which will either put you in front of the plane you originally were, or behind it. And some of the things also rotate the room when you go down there.
Okay, so like Clockwork Knight, but good.
Yes. I've not played that, so...
yeah. Or Beautiful Joe. Haven't played that either.
I have, but not that much, and a long time ago.
Okay.
The one thing that I found a bit difficult about that is they've not found a way, effectively, of changing up the map to cope with that. So it's still a very Metroidvania-style 2D map.
Cool. Well, interesting.
So you definitely know what to expect when it comes to that. But it does mean it can be quite confusing when you're trying to go back and forth in terms of where your next objective is, in terms of do I also need to try and find a way of rotating the room I'm in order to then progress.
Okay, so it's not just you're walking forward and like it's a corridor that twists you. There are actually things that instigate the twist?
Yes.
Interesting.
So you potentially drop down into a sub-passageway and then crawl around and it will rotate the room as well as you being below the main
And then you set off in a different direction?
Yes, but generally only done within a room.
Okay, well that makes it a little bit easier. I had visions of this kind of like interlocking.
No, it's not quite that complex.
Okay, well that's something.
It still added a fair degree of complexity, and it definitely had me stuck a couple of times. So there's a slight worry it's trying to be too clever for its own good. But at the same time, certainly on the Vita, it looked nice. It played really well. And it's been a long time, really, since I think a good one of those games has come out, because the Castlevania 3DS game suffered from a pretty rotten frame rate.
Yeah. Guacamole.
Yeah, okay.
Not that I don't want another one of those games, because I enjoy them, but Guacamole was a good one of those.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry to shoot down that.
Yeah, I guess...
Which is also on the Vita.
Which is also on the Vita. Potentially a little bit smaller in scope, though, I guess.
I suspect so. I mean, Guacamole only through it is not about £8.
Yeah.
Which could be...
That's not too bad, actually, yeah.
Certainly smaller in scope in terms of production.
Yeah. But anyway, it's got Batman and stuff. It seemed like a perfectly competent game, and to be honest, there are probably enough people out there who are clamouring for any kind of box release on the Vita, which is not terrible.
I'm begrudgingly agreeing with you.
Yeah, and it seems like it will fit that bill.
Yeah.
I think as long as they can try and find a way of potentially improving a little bit of pathfinding, you've got detective mode and stuff, but it's not always 100% obvious where you should be going next.
Obviously.
So if they can do a little bit around there, improving pathfinding, then I think they could be on to a real winner.
Cool. I'll take it from you there. I think back off, and this is weird because last year we went and did this and we were like, this looks really good. This year it's kind of a bit the same, but it's a bit of an expansion. XCOM, XCOM Enemy Within. That wasn't clearly hinting at something, but doing saying what. And you are wearing it, and all the shields have turned orange.
Whoa.
It's kind of cool, kind of weird. Maybe they mean it to be gold, but it's kind of reminding me a little bit of Train Spotting. I don't know. But yeah, basically what they were showing us today were it's going to. Well, firstly, it's going to be an expansion. It's
right.
Not. And they're not
sequel.
saying it's a new game. They're saying it's an expansion.
Right.
Although it will be
boxed.
Will be a boxed release
right.
on Xbox and PS3 version.
Yep.
And it will be standalone.
Right.
Because why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Really?
New consoles as well.
Probably should have paid more attention. It certainly won't be the date releases because it comes out the 15th
of
November.
Wow. Okay.
So just before the new consoles. So certainly at launch, probably not looking at those.
Yeah. Okay.
And it looks interesting. I mean, it looks as good as the last one. They did this really, they just obviously put on thing. And the first thing they do is they run out these two troops and overwalks a tall man and then in the second one. They're like, this should be fine. They're normally not too much trouble on bang, 7. The first guy goes down. They do the same with the other guy and they're like, oh. And then the kind of, commander, maybe it's time to try the new troops. And basically the new things they've got is they've got genetic mutations, genetically modified troops, I should say, and mech exoskeletons.
Okay.
So this big old grasshopper robot-looking guy comes out and he's ready to cause trouble, and obviously some genetically modified guys on side as well. The exoskeleton that brings this kind of new ability is lateral damage, which can wipe out areas of the map, basically, flatten any kind of cover.
Okay.
So just there's too many people back there, I don't want him to do it. That drains a lot of his ammo. In fact, after doing that once, he was down to hand-to-hand combat.
Wow. Okay.
Not that mad, because he basically pile-drived a muta... What were the big ones? Mutagens?
Yeah.
Basically, he
what a big buggers.
Yeah, he punched an insectoid off the map and then flattened this kind of brute kind of thing. One of the sniper they had, his genetic modification was to leap into the air. So there was no ladder or anything. He just ran up to a wall and leapt to the top of the structure.
Yep.
And the other guy had a neural feedback. So Insectoid Commander came along, tried to attack him, and it just all went back in his face and blew up his head.
Nice.
So they moved forward, and there's a report from we have a scan up in front of you. There's something coming up, something we don't recognise. Actually, it reads a bit like two things, and we haven't seen anything like this before. But of course, you wander up, and it's the alien mech.
Okay.
So the aliens have mechs too, and they basically go into this kind of and they both go to punch each other, and that's where the kind of demo ends.
Fair enough.
So it, more troops, more options, certainly interesting in terms of XCOM. What I'm worried about is that what you're actually doing is flattening the playing field to the point that you won't. The distinctions between, because humans were always you can buff them massively, depending on their armor and stuff, and if you're adding that on as well, why bother having aliens anymore?
Was there any more visual variety to it?
No.
Okay.
At least they showed us one level on top of a hydroelectric dam, which looked very much like a bridges. So no, but that's all they showed us. We didn't get hands on.
No. Okay.
I'm happy for more XCOM. It just I don't know.
I presume if they're calling expansion slightly lower price.
Hopefully, I don't know if I'd be willing to. I don't know if I want to go back.
No.
To XCOM at the moment. I don't know if I don't know if they come up with a good story hook to get you back in as to why the aliens are back and how.
Yeah.
It all went wrong, and why you beat them the first time, Commander, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. I've still not finished the original, so.
You're not okay.
I'm going to keep playing that.
I got to the end and finished it in few shots. He said, "Spec one of my guys in a specific direction."
Okay.
But yeah, it's worth finishing. It's great.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely will get finished. So whilst you were doing that, I went to see Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein?
Wolfenstein New Order.
We were doing a lot of German impressions today.
So this kind of reimagines the Wolfenstein universe. BJ Blazkowicz
yes.
never gets to defeat evil Mecha Hitler.
Really?
Instead,
Not even XCOM.
Well, no. Instead, prior to the end of the war, he gets hit by some shrapnel,
Right.
and put into a coma,
Right.
and then wakes up in 1960s Poland.
Who was keeping him in this coma? Maintaining him while he was in this coma?
So no one knew who he was because he also got chucked off a bridge at the time and washed up like in Poland.
Yeah, would we assume? I'm going to take a wild stab in the dark here, but Blazkowicz would be a Russian name? Russian name, what am I talking about? German name? Or a Polish name?
I don't know.
Polish name?
Really made up name?
He's from America though, right?
Yeah, he is.
And they do have a kind of
But he's
posh
in a coma. And
but they have a posh show out there for a little snippy of the babies. And I think if your baby had a little bit of the snippy at that era... What I'm saying is he was probably circumcised.
Yeah, I don't think
I don't think they would have kept him alive.
Well, anyway, so they keep him alive.
I think I've seen a flaw in this whole storyline. I'm going to go and talk to him tomorrow.
Great. I'm sure Pete Hines will be delighted to hear you talk to him about their circumcision-based plot holes.
Please, but make them put in a line about him not being circumcised.
Anyway, he wakes up in 1960s Poland, and because he didn't defeat Mecha Hitler, we lost the war.
That's awful.
So the Nazis are still there,
right,
in the 60s, and he wakes up, and then he has to go and kill them all again.
Okay. Hitler's still alive?
It wasn't said. The main enemy dude you were going up against was a general, somebody other who was just involved in like nasty mutations and genetic experiments and the like. So no clue as to whether there will be a Mecha Hitler or not at the minute.
Right.
You did see some genetically engineered dudes.
Did any of the dudes look like a lady?
No.
Right. Not very well genetically engineered there.
No. They're kind of just big.
Yeah. Not ladylike.
And they had kind of steamy pipes on their back.
Oh, nice. I like steamy pipes.
Yeah. This game didn't seem particularly special.
You didn't like it, did you?
Not an awful lot. This is not me saying this game is bad. It made me feel a little bit ill, to be honest, actually.
I'm not saying it's bad, but it made me feel nauseous.
But not in that way, because it had a very shaky hand cam effect to it.
Are we talking Kane Lynch 2 shaky hand cam?
No, not really. More just kind of old school, lots of like head bob and head shake.
So there's no stylistic...
No, it's very straight up.
Oh. That's disappointing. It's not like film grainy or anything.
No. I mean, it's stylistic in terms of some of the enemies, but that's kind of it.
Is it... Have they reimagined the 60s? If you see what I mean. Like, are they still going through like burning the bras and hippies, or because that doesn't feel like a very...
It's a Nazi
regime.
Exactly,
yeah. I don't see why they picked the 60s. I feel like the 60s is this kind of melting pot of things that could be used in this game, that could be almost make it Duke Nukem-esque.
We're still in Poland at that point, so I don't know whether we'll go anywhere else where it might be like that. But it seems like all the Nazis have done in the last 20 years is give their soldiers iron masks.
Do you think, well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, do you think they'll meet the Beatles and they'll all have Hitler tattoos?
That would be really funny. The game didn't seem to have much of a sense of humour. It was definitely continuing down some of the more serious veins of the last couple of Wolfenstein games.
How can you be serious when your lead character is called BJ?
Yeah.
At least we're on the same page.
Yeah, I don't think it was necessarily the right direction.
Right.
He has got memories that he's been looked after by some girl for this period when he's been in coma. She gets kidnapped by the Nazis. He goes out to try and save her, and that's kind of where the demo ends. So I just think story-wise and approach. I mean, it's still the weird thing is the combat was quite satisfying. You have got some big weapons. You can dual wield.
Uncircumcised.
But you've just got this bizarre dichotomy of a game that seems way too serious. Bad guy's kind of evil, but not almost evil enough because you want him to just be so out there like a Bond villain. He wasn't quite there.
Then that's exactly the era you're in as well. I mean, this is the thing, right? You are in. They should be spy gadgets.
Honestly, you should have Mecha Hitler. You should have like this other dude with a shark pit or something.
Yeah, or you should have a guy with a tiny little midget that lives on an island with a golden gun as your main enemy. Like, they put it in such an amazing era. I don't know why they bothered if they're going to keep. And like you say, you haven't seen that.
I mean, I got a good 45 minutes of hands-on time, but there was not. It didn't go beyond Poland. So maybe there's something else out there. But
I mean,
it said literally,
60s feels like a waste.
It took itself so seriously that on the controller layout piece of paper in front of me, there was half of it was a warning / piece of text, Assassin's Creed style, going, this game is made by a group of many people, and we don't condone or blah 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 what the Nazis did.
That goes for this podcast as well, by the way, people.
Well, yeah,
with some of my colourful comments today.
I was a bit like, almost, why do they need to say that? You can kind of get it for Assassin's Creed because there's many religious undertones.
Yeah.
If anyone goes, all these guys are saying the Nazis were all right, there's got something probably a bit wrong going on.
Maybe a bit later on, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows? Maybe it does go down.
There could be. What was it I was watching the other day talking about? It was Star Trek. Star Trek. There's an episode of the old series of Star Trek where they go down to Earth or go down to a planet, and it's in uproar. They're stranded, and they need to come up with something, and they try and instigate the Nazi regime, and with the best will in the world, they're trying not to let it go down the kind of separation and bitter racism.
Yeah, they went for National Socialism as opposed to Nazis.
with this idea, well, except for totally Nazis.
Yeah.
But the idea being that it was a small country that became strong enough to overthrow a lot of Europe, became very industrious. Yeah. And maybe there's messages like that in there.
Yeah. I also think they really missed a trick. Like, if they wanted to totally just go out there and also have a kind of bizarre, serious, dark tone to it, he's been looked after by effectively a German for 20 years, and he's been in a coma. I think what would have been really cool is if he woke up and he didn't really know who he was. He could only speak German because that's what had been spoken to him for 20 years, and he went out and he was a Nazi. He finished off the war for the Germans.
I think you need a longer piece of disclaimer.
I think you probably would, but at the same time, you just need to kind of just have it really like balls out, and at that point, have him defeat like Robo Churchill.
What is he, Robo Churchill? Just like a massive nodding dog with Churchill's
or Mecha Stalin.
Yeah, I think, and here's the thing, right? We don't know what is in there, but it feels at every turn like a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like if they weren't comfortable as developers and PR in showing us anything else, then this is the tone they want the press to take away. And the tone, I'm guessing, is, like we said, I think a bit of a missed opportunity to, it's stayed in a bit of a bland middle as opposed to going one way or the other.
Absolutely.
And that's a shame, because I said take away the shaky head, and I think some of the combat was quite solid.
Okay. Well, that's good thing.
Yeah, I think it's just going to struggle to differentiate
itself.
What
engine is it?
Don't know. It didn't come up with any disclaimers. They just said it was running on PC. I think it's id Tech 5.
Mm-hmm.
because generally I think that's what they say they're using.
Yeah. Cool. Is there anything else?
I went to Microsoft after that, and I saw quite a few things.
Oh Lord. Okay. Hit them.
So I saw Rise, Project Spark, and Forza 5.
Okay. Best one?
Forza 5,
Why?
I think I'm naturally going to say. The level of detail of that is insane. If you really want to get geeks out, they realised their tyre simulation that they were getting from Pirelli for Forza 4 wasn't detailed enough. And this was more detailed apparently than the data that was going into any Pirelli systems, and they make the F1 tyres. And you'd have thought they would have some of the most advanced tyre simulation programs out there. So they went to the guys who actually make the tyre simulation software for Pirelli and got them to make it better.
Right.
So
somebody was talking to me, mate. Might have been you. That was saying it was yesterday, wasn't it? That Microsoft doesn't have bottomless pockets to throw at problems, and
it doesn't have.
I think we're proving that maybe they do.
I think when it comes to some of their own internal studios, yeah, they do, because they need some first-party exclusives. I don't think they've got the bottomless pits with third parties, but so they are now proclaiming that effectively they have the most advanced tyre simulating software in the world. I mean, so. And we weren't just talking to PR at this point. We had Dan, what's his surname? Greenhart? I don't know. Literally the lead producer of the game come out. He's does a lot of these events. He clearly loves the game.
The guy that was on stage.
The guy was on stage at E3. Someone specifically asked him whether the physics and simulation engine of the cars was as realistic as something to say iRacing or something other. iRacing in particular is known within the community as being if you really love your hardcore racing sims, that's what you go for. He said he reckoned it would be at least 25% better.
Gonna say what he would say that. But yeah.
Well, no, I don't know. Still... I mean, for the lead producer to come out and say that, I think that's quite a statement.
Yeah, I think you're looking at it's a hard comparison to draw in that case, because very specifically iRacing is more about putting you with people who also take the game seriously, and that doesn't necessarily.
Yes, and also most people in that situation probably going to have wheels and even seats and the like. And also with iRacing, I think the difference there is that there's so much setup work you can do.
Yeah.
Whereas with Forza, there is a limit as to what you can do setup-wise. Still compared to most games, it offers a wide range of setup options. But interesting they came out with that, and you could see the suspension and tyres working on the cars, and it looked seriously impressive. The game, it's got a brand new engine. The lighting's been completely redone. They've still not announced how many cars and tracks you've got. And I asked them specifically whether they said there was going to be more content in Forza 4.
Right.
And I specifically asked at the end whether that was going to equate to more cars and tracks. So the answer was not necessarily.
More car depot.
Potentially be a deeper game. More to do with those cars, effectively. Each car now has a mini career. So it's not the case where previously you had season by season racing. And they would get longer and longer, and eventually you would get bored. And I think I agreed with what I said. You don't finish a racing game, they finish you.
Yeah. A while ago in my case.
With anything other than like Need for Speed, where generally they've got pretty short campaigns. So with this, they've designed it so you can just take on as many careers as you want. Each one will last about an hour to an hour and a half.
Okay, that feels quick.
But you've got well over 100 cars.
Yes, but an hour to an hour and a half. How do they sum up a career in that? I mean,
So you will do a series of races. You'll do a championship per car, basically.
Okay, right. That makes sense. Yes.
So you'll do a number of,
and then you'll retire that car for the next season because.
So there's each category of car now has its own league, and then you can do. If you're really hardcore, it will change that career up.
Right.
I don't know if it's randomly or not for each car, but you might just wanted to say do the hot hatch type. and then you choose one of the cars, and then you go and do that championship. If you're mental, you can go and do that with each of the hot hatches, and it will change it up in the background. So it offers you kind of more options and more stuff available from the start. So it no longer forces you to start with a tiny shitty hatchback and then move up to, over time, something much more powerful. There's an intro series which you have to do, which is, I think, like sports coupes, like medium kind of power stuff. And then you move onwards and upwards there, and you just have any choice after that initial one.
Cool. Okay. Now, I think what was a more interesting story of yours from Dave, already like handling like a little spoiler thing for this, was Spark.
Yeah.
Your disgruntled German friends.
Yeah, Project.
Who I can only imagine talking like this. I don't like your game.
So I was the
Mr. Microsoft, I don't like your game.
So I was the only English guy when I was seeing Project Spark, and the poor guy. We had the head of the studio making it, and also the head of Microsoft Worldwide Studios giving the presentation.
It gets better and better. I'd forgotten that part of the story.
And the poor German guy was trying to articulate that with this type of game, it's very easy to become frustrated, it's difficult, it takes a long time to do what you want, and therefore you get bored and don't actually really do anything with the game, and you potentially use it for just content consumption rather than creation of your own.
Like when you boot up Little Big Planet's creation mode, you spend 2 minutes, you make a circle, and you be like, wow, that was an effort, and turn it off, and then look at it.
And then only just play Mario clones that other people have made.
Exactly.
But the poor guy basically said, I don't like this game, but tell me how you'll make it quick. And in fairness, that he took it on the chin. And
oh, that's good call. Okay. And this, I mean, to reiterate, if those who don't know what Project Spark is, it's a build-your-own-game game.
It is.
I mean, in short, I mean, you don't really have to go into it much more than that.
It's got some serious impressive facts behind it. The map size will expand out with you up to 5k by 5k.
Right.
You get 5 square kilometres of map.
Right.
Which, if you like driving games, for example, is big enough to fit in the entire Norderschleife track. If you like role-playing games, it's about the size of...
I'm looking forward to this example. About the size of...
It's nearly the size of the Oblivion map.
Really? No. That's longer than 5k. Surely.
It's supposed to be bigger, but I think the actual size of it, in terms of if you walked it at and you were going at walking speed, the time it would take to go across it, I think someone said is about 5 by 5. But
That surprised me. I'd say Dragon's Dogma map, certainly.
Yeah.
Then again, I do sprint across that pretty regularly. So I mean, what, a sprint, you're looking at 25 minutes to run across? Yeah, it's big. Yeah. Certainly.
So, you can do stuff, and they showed some really interesting things. So one of their interns come in, and they basically recreated... So I immediately went in and said, what's content curation going to be like? Because everyone's going to make like 1-1 of Mario, and then they're immediately going to get those levels taken down. And they said basically they've gone into it with their legal team, and they've gone for exactly the same approach as Forza, that unless anyone issues a takedown notice, they will leave it.
Okay.
And then they will use the user community to flag inappropriate content if someone makes a giant penis island or something.
If someone.
Yeah, when I make a giant penis.
when everyone draws a great big penis and
But also you'll be asked when creating your piece of content to assign it an age range. So theoretically, as long as you assign it an adult age range, you should be able to make your giant penis island.
Really? Yeah. That's good. That's good.
So anyway, one of the interns apparently over the course of the day made one of the first levels from Limbo.
One of the first penises. It took him less than a minute.
Made one of the first levels from Limbo.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Looked just like it. Played in 2D. Played in 2D. Yeah. And then what they did, which was really cool, is they went into the settings, they changed the filter to take off the grayscale.
Right.
They changed the camera to first person.
Right.
And then played it again, and it kind of became like a bizarre, like Fable world first person platformer. It was like Fable combined with Mirror's Edge.
Wow. Okay. No, that. Okay. Impressed.
Yeah.
Impressed.
So I just don't know whether. They showed off the content creation. It is pretty quick. I'm still not sure whether it's quick enough, to be honest. But it might be kind of cool. I think if the price is right, just as a content creation device, because it is, I think, much bigger in scope than anything else that anyone has done in this kind of sphere before.
Yeah. Going to move you along. What was that last game you saw?
Rise. You're a Roman dude. You bash people.
Yeah, no, I know. That's cool.
It seemed like much less of a quick time, heavy focused game than it did.
Didn't like the fight brawler. Is it a brawler? I guess is what I'm actually asking.
It's pretty much. It's not like Dynasty Warrior style, but it basically is a brawler.
Fair enough.
It looked perfectly competent. It looked very nice. They showed off some levels that looked really, really lovely.
And they sorted out his toga.
Yeah,
brilliant. So I saw Suda. I want to gush about this. Hopefully Bjorn's going to send me audio because my camera was a bit shit. But we're going to have that up on the site soon, and it's going to be amazing. We were quite respectful. When they said you've got one more question, I only did one more question. I really wanted to ask another one. But as he said, people have been keeping Suda for longer than needed, and I wanted Suda. I'm a bit of a fan, and I wanted to respect the time that he's obviously putting into it. He answered, I think, 5 or 6 questions about Killer is Dead, which is where I focus my questions. And I think if you watch that interview when it goes up on the YouTube channel and or Playdevil.com,
great.
If you're interested in his previous work, or just interested in what really interesting, eccentric designers are doing, it will be of interest to you. I'm not going to go into more detail than that, but it was something of an honour.
Excellent.
And I got to speak Japanese, which I don't get to do very often anymore.
And he seemed very pleased about that.
He was very pleased about that. I think probably between the poor translation woman who's probably had to do German and English and Japanese, and I still needed her because my Japanese isn't good enough to go through all of that. But I could listen and nod along and giggle occasionally when he made jokes appropriately, and I could say how much I love all of his games and thank you very much. And that I played Killer is Dead. I played Killer 7 as well, which is amazing. But I also played Killer is Dead, and that was good.
Great.
Yeah.
Did you play anything else?
Skylanders.
Okay.
More Skylanders.
Okay. Anything else before you went to Nintendo?
Not before I went to Nintendo.
Okay.
I was going to hit Nintendo.
I was pretty busy. I also got the chance to see Destiny quickly. Didn't get the chance to play it, unfortunately, because of scheduling. It looks really, really cool.
Cool.
Adding in lots of nice little touches to make it feel more like a single-player game where your friends can join in, as opposed to a multiplayer game that's trying to shoehorn in some kind of story-driven content.
Mm-hmm.
So less like a kind of instance MMO.
I must admit, the more I see, the more I kind of like the art style and what they're doing and how that could change characters.
It was running on, I think, high-end PC, and it looked and played and felt gorgeous. All the art style and everything, brilliant.
Bungie have always been very good at, or I say always, but they seem to have been very good at picking a style that complements the limitations of the machines. Which is certainly what they did with Halo.
Yeah.
And I can only assume they're doing the same thing again, because it looks, like I say, phenomenal. Yeah. And of course, that could just be the power of the machines, but I like to think that they are.
You've got Bungie's traditional excellent gunplay mixed with a new fantastic art style, loads of abilities, proper leveling up, proper loot. It looks like it is definitely one to watch.
Super. Nintendo.
Nintendo!
We saw him.
We saw Charles Martinet. Unfortunately, we couldn't get any time with him.
We did hear him going on. To be honest, I'm kind of glad we didn't. I know it would be kind of awesome,
it would be.
But we were kind of sat there, and he was like, and this guy had obviously asked him some questions, and he was just doing the voices over and over again.
Yeah.
And all I wanted to do was go up. Literally, if we had an interview, it was like, I worked in Japan as a school teacher for a while. As people on the podcast, if they listen to these, probably know, bore people endlessly. But literally, I go and they're like, "Hey, it's me, Mario," and they would all crack up. And it was like, you know what effect you have on Japanese children, and that was going to be like kind of opening gambit. But all he did was voices, which is great because that's what he does, and it's so weird seeing this. He's tall.
Yeah.
I mean, he's nearly my height. And
Big
I'm
guy,
tall.
yeah.
Big chap, and he's just doing all of these crazy
Oh.
voices. Wow, Luigi. Kind of thing.
Oh, Luigi, what are you doing? Oh, Luigi! Oh, no!
Baby Mario. Oh, Baby Mario, I shouldn't see that. Kind of thing. Yeah. No, it was... it was fun to see him doing it all. But I think I would have got really... Because he kept going.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that interview went on for a while. We got 2 videos of 2 different games while that thing was going on. And I was like, oh,
he was loving it, though.
He was absolutely. I think he's probably quite happy to get himself on camera.
Yeah. He was having a great time.
It's wonderful. Give me a spicy meatball. But that's where I started to feel a bit sick, honestly. Not because of him, but because of the 2 muffins we ate. I hadn't eaten all day at this point, apart from a meaty breakfast.
Yeah.
I was then what?
We left at 8:15.
So yeah, we've been...
That's 5 o'clock.
Nearly 9 hours.
Yeah.
8 or 9 hours since I ate, and I just scoffed these 2 muffins and a wine glass full of Coke and still feel really sick. But somehow that worked well with the saccharine sweetness of Nintendo.
Yeah.
And importantly, I've got all my pink puzzle pieces from that, from my Street Pass, which I know you're shaking your head at, but people who understand will know how important that is. We played quite a few games there actually.
Yeah.
We tore through them. It wasn't in depth.
Yeah.
I mean, you and Bjorn were playing the new Donkey Kong.
Donkey Kong, yeah.
Land Country Rises again.
3D Land Returns.
I don't know.
Country.
I was literally thinking, like, I don't know what I'm going.
No, because it's Super Mario 3D Land.
Super Mario 3D Land,
yeah,
which is awesome.
Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Was it? No, that one's already out.
Is it? Oh shit!
No, can you have Donkey Kong Country Returns 2?
Donkey Kong 3D Land. It's a me, Donkey Kong. Bongo Bash 4.
Bongo Bash, it sounds like a sex move.
There is a Donkey Kong Bongo Bash.
No, I know. It's just good too.
Anyway, there's a Donkey Kong.
Yeah, you guys played a Donkey Kong game, and that looked like a Donkey Kong game.
Yeah.
That's my full summation.
Also, I nearly got a slap on the number of ape and banana puns.
Oh god, that was where I was glad that I hadn't spent all day with you, because you were punlicious at that point.
That's kind of the only time, really. It was the game that was ripest for them.
It was I swear. Oh yeah, so we saw that. And then interestingly, and I guess almost standing in juxtaposition to everything else on the show, was Bayonetta 2.
Mm.
Which, if anybody remembers, the original Bayonetta, they had a one-handed mode.
Right.
Where it kind of moved you through and all you did was hammer a button. And
yeah.
Basically it was...
It was just that?
It was given the nickname kind of wank mode.
Oh.
Because you could just...
No! Oh!
Not you could just sit there and wank, I'm not... But that was... Because, you know, risque woman who kind of unrode, sex secretary kind of thing. Now, they've made a fully touchpad mode. Do it all on the touchscreen of 3DS. And I'm there trying to play it on the big screen because it's beautiful. I mean, you know, it's this gen, but it is... Platinum have given it that very distinct art style. It's very crisp, very intense, vivid, rapid movement. And I have to look down at the small screen to know where to touch, because you're meant to be touching on enemies to hit them.
Right.
Special moves help on the screen. You're evading by slashes. You're jumping by swipes. And then you're moving by holding down to shadow character. And I'm like, and I put myself through that because I wanted to know how it worked, because I know it's Platinum, and unless something's gone horribly wrong, the standard controls are still going to be the standard controls.
Exactly.
I don't know why anybody would play these simplified controls unless... I don't think it's easier, but maybe for people who are used to that, it is easier. And it's just me being curmudgeonly. But that was a weird experience. Looks great. Looks like a fantastic Bayonetta. It's got the over-the-top action. Like I was going along on a plane, they got sliced to bits, so I had to jump from piece to piece, and then somebody else came along on a plane the other way up to me, and we kind of wink at each other as they pass, like Top Gun style, over each other, except I'm not in the plane, I'm on the plane, beating up Minotaurs. I mean, it's still Bayonetta.
Yeah.
So that was good. And you played 101?
I played 101 and possibly Zelda as well whilst you were
Yeah.
So Wind Waker HD is Wind Waker in HD.
Okay.
It looks like you can't really say they've spruced up the textures because there aren't really textures to spruce. It looked like they'd potentially added in a little bit of lighting or post-processing that wasn't there before. Difficult to tell because with that kind of game, just make it 1080p, 60 frames a second. With that kind of style, it just looks lovely anyway.
Yeah, of course.
Doesn't really need anything else doing to it. I think it just had maybe a little bit of extra sheen and polish applied to it.
Sure.
Made it properly widescreen. Looks it's great.
Cool.
Played well. Similar advantages that recent Zelda games have had in having inventory on the touchscreen of Wii U.
And interestingly, second pad support already built in from back when they had the Game Boy as a plugin, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just brought out the Tingle Map thing again.
Yeah.
That's good thinking, I guess.
So it was good. 141 seemed alright.
I'm very hopeful for it, but I don't know why.
Some of the stuff to kind of get your minions together into fighting blobs or whatever they're called, I just couldn't get them to work. There's one where you had to put it in a kind of S shape on the touchpad. It would just always make one of the other shapes.
Okay.
It only seemed to respond to a very certain area of it.
And bear in mind, we are in most cases playing early builds. Like when I broke Skylanders.
I got 5 minutes with it at most. It was a quick tutorial and a level that took 3 minutes.
We weren't leaping through that Nintendo. We had an hour in there. I think we played just 7 games.
Yeah. And it's got full play co-op. It seemed pretty cool. It had some interesting ideas. It looks alright.
Cool. Super Mario 3D Land. I loved it.
Yeah, Super Mario.
It's Super Mario 3D Land.
Yeah. Except
this was Super Mario 3D World. You didn't have to pick a toad. You could be the princess. You could be... Yeah.
Had all the costumes.
More than all. You could be a cat now.
Yeah.
That was pretty intense. You could stick to walls and had like a slash motion.
Yeah.
Which was pretty awesome. So I was quite impressed. In fact, I really enjoyed that. But I'm looking at it. I sit there going like, I can't afford a Wii U, but they're offering better arguments from this than and I've played quite a few Wii U games. There weren't much up to now, but Mario 3D Land, Bayonetta, 101 I've always wanted to play, but I still didn't see anything too convincing. But Wind Waker I want to play again.
Wind Waker looked good, Mario Kart 8 looked good. It's kind of Mario Kart,
yeah. But it had hover on it though.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they lower the price, put out a bundle of Mario Kart, maybe never get one.
Yeah, I wouldn't be averse to it. So
3DS lineup looked strong.
Yeah, it has done for a while. I mean, adding a unique Zelda based on possibly one of the most beloved of the franchise, adding to that.
Yeah, that Sonic game seemed alright.
Yeah, not Bayonetta, Pokemon,
Yoshi's New Island.
Yeah,
New Yoshi's Island.
Yeah, I think we didn't play that one.
Yoshi's Island
New. It wasn't
New Yoshi's New Island New.
It's called New.
New.
Yeah, it was alright. From what I saw. But yeah, lots of stuff. I mean, Nintendo had a good showing there. Maybe we'll go tomorrow and see on the show for what's getting picked up. What the kind of buzz is for that. But I was impressed.
Yeah, I was not expecting that to be so strong because their area was still considerably smaller than Microsoft or Sony's.
Well, but they didn't let as many people in, and it was one. Every single machine was a different game.
Yeah,
and they weren't talking about anything. It
no,
was come and play,
and
we probably won't write much about all that. We've got
lots of video.
We could dub over some of it actually.
Yeah. Because most of the other sessions that you get at Gamescom, generally you sit in there, you might get a bit of hands-on,
they won't let you
film just about anything.
And Nintendo were like, yeah, you can film as long as it's not just the screen, you've got to be visible in the shot. So you get, and this is a very Nintendo thing, you get the atmosphere of play. Yeah. It's not like a film, it is play.
So you do get us playing, apart from in Mario Kart 8, where there was...
I'm not sure I'm going to put that video on.
some other dude who wouldn't let us have a go.
Well, he wouldn't let us have a go, but there were a load of suits waiting, and he was having 2 goes, and I'd seen him earlier in the day, and I was like, he looks a bit weird.
He went off and had a 3rd go afterwards, despite the suits, so...
We met him, and, we were like, do you mind us filming? He goes, no, I don't mind. What side do you write for? It's like, Playdevil.
English,
like, German, international. I was like, English? Like, oh. I half feel like if we put it up, we're going to get sued for likeness infringement or something. So, unless I can find a way to crop it out.
Just have a hand so you still have the experience of play.
I might, like, superimpose me, just like thumbs up. Or you from the morning when we took that awful photo.
Or you could just impose my face from Kinect Sports Rivals when I got scanned into that.
Yeah, that was... You look buff.
Yeah, they buffed me up something special.
You look like Superman in that picture.
It was kind of interesting because I put the photo on Twitter, but at the same time there's no actual photo of me. So you have nothing to compare it to.
I've got photos of you from today.
Well, true. But I mean, some of the core concepts of my face are kind of accurate. Like, it doesn't not...
You have a nose. You have 2 eyes.
But at the same time, you know, if you have, like, one of those caricatures of you done, it's kind of like that, right? Mm-hmm. If someone decided to turn me into a cartoon and turn about 2 stone of fat into 2 stone of muscle...
If they turned all my fat into muscle, I would look a lot buffer.
Then, you know... Yeah. Maybe that wouldn't be too bad. That made me a lot more redheaded than I actually am, which wasn't ideal.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm not saying there is, but it did. It was kind of dyed red level.
Okay, yeah.
Have you seen it? You saw
it?
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, maybe you just put that.
Yeah, that'll work. But that was a real treat, and I think what I might do tomorrow when I'm not playing is go and abuse all the press pass things we've got and just film. Because I don't want to write.
We've got a real busy day tomorrow anyway.
I don't know if I do.
Yeah, we've lost all your appointments. We're going to see The Witcher, both of us. So hope to have an interview with those guys.
Yeah. Sorry, this is breaking news right here. Our editor Bjorn has finally made it back, and he is sending us links. And we might be able to do the Suda thing today.
Great.
Carry on talking, because otherwise you're just going to hear me clicking my computer, for which I apologise, but I didn't bring my
So
notes.
we are going to see...
Let's find out, shall we?
We're going to have an interview with The Witcher.
Here we go. This, we will know in a moment if Suda's on.
Thank you very much. What's my...
Suda!
My questions are missing.
Okay.
So, yeah, we've got that. That's good news. You might not think so, having just been forced to hear that. But
So we're going to have an interview with the guys from CD Projekt Red.
Yes, for which I will have to be, obviously, on hand.
And I am super excited about that.
Me too. I think that could be a really interesting interview.
I've interviewed those guys before. They are super nice. They love their role-playing games.
Apologies for the clicking that's going to go on in your ears for a moment. I just got to get this saved. Yes, carry on.
We're going to be seeing EA a little bit more, so hopefully Titanfall, Need for Speed, maybe Battlefield 4. See what we can squeeze in. We've got 2 hours where we're basically allowed to go and see any of their games, so we're going to try and prioritise probably Titanfall, and then just see what else we can go in and see.
Absolutely.
And what else? I'm seeing Elder Scrolls Online, which I'm also super excited about.
Brilliant. As am I.
Yeah, I'm going back to Xbox to have a tour of the dashboard and to also see something else that I've not seen of theirs yet.
I'm trying to think what I've got. I do have some time with NCIS.
Okay.
Pretty sure that's a TV show.
Yeah.
NSCI. The Dragon's Blade people, which I might get an interview for, which... Dragon's Crown, rather.
Yes,
which I'm very excited about if I can.
I was going to say, why would you be excited about an NCIS game? Because there have been a couple and they're not very good.
No. So there's that. WWE 14, NBA 14, and PES. And why do I get all the sports things?
because you're a massive dude, bro, and you love the sports.
I apparently one of the wrestlers is going to be there tomorrow.
That sounds kind of cool.
Yeah.
Get a photo, please.
Get a video. Let's get him like sneering at the camera. Because I did some wrestling as well. So
Okay, because I'm hoping obviously they won't listen to this, right? Because from the sounds of it, listening to any other like video or podcast or anyone talk about wrestlers, those guys are high on drugs, drink, whatever, and are all crazy.
Mostly, and this is to be absolutely fair to them, mostly high on painkillers because they abuse their bodies and are encouraged to abuse their bodies by their company in a way that they shouldn't.
Oh yeah.
So that's me giving them due credit, I guess, or due acknowledgement at least.
So that could be pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I don't know. For us, there we've got Microsoft in the afternoon, possibly with Witcher with you.
Yep.
I might leave you the camera just in case. But do record it on your something else as well. Yeah. If not, after that, I'm just going to take off and start filming stuff on the show floor, I think.
Great.
Try and put more video up on the site and on the YouTube channel because, frankly, while we can write some stuff, and we will obviously, put a couple of paragraphs of opinion with every video we put up because you can't get everything across in that. It's just as interesting to see what's going on in those games. Yeah. And then we may podcast again tomorrow evening. Which will probably go up sometime in December.
Yeah. Timely.
That's what we like. That's what we aim for here.
And maybe we've got a new Bjorn with that email.
Playdevil.com. Yeah. We've just emailed him back. We're going to put that. I'm starting to think I'm not known for drinks. You can. But yeah, we'll get some of these up. And thank you very much for listening. I hope that this has enlightened people as to what's been going on at Gamescom. Give some ideas of what to look forward to
tomorrow.
I haven't got to look forward to tomorrow, but I mean look forward to
in general. Yeah. Nice one. All right.
Cool. Thanks very much, people. Bye.
Bye.